I'm bringing back one of my all-time favorite holiday desserts, my ooey gooey cinnamon rolls. These were a huge hit with my family and friends last year, and we're going to add a full budget breakdown on just how affordable they are to make. If you missed this video before, you're in for a treat. Now let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rosa, and today I am super excited to share with you guys how to make my homemade vegan cinnamon rolls. These rolls are super easy to make, but they taste absolutely delicious. And I know you'll love these ones way more than the ones you find in the store in a can. So if you're ready, let's get started. So to get started, we're going to need 2 bowls, one for your wet ingredients and one for your dry ingredients. So first we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. So to the bowl, we're going to add 2 cups of flour. Now we'll need 3½ cups of flour, but we're going to start off with first the 2 cups. We need a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. So I'm using instant yeast or rapid rising yeast to help the dough rise faster. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to give that a good stir to make sure it's well incorporated. All right, then let's get our wet ingredients together. For the wet ingredients, I'm going to start off by warming up 1/2 cup of cashew milk. When you're warming the milk, make sure it's just lukewarm. This step is super important because it helps bloom the yeast, making it nice and active for your dough. Trust me, this part makes a huge difference. So now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of applesauce, 1/4 cup melted butter. And I only left the burner on for a short time and turned it off while the butter was still solid, because you want it to melt, but you don't want it to be super hot, because when you add it to the flour and the dough, you don't want to kill the yeast. And we're just going to mix it up until it's combined. So we're going to combine the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients, and we're going to stir that until we get a soft dough. Once we get the soft dough, we're going to add in the additional 1 to 1½ cups more of flour. So we're gradually adding in about 1 or 1½ cup of flour until we get a nice pliable dough, and so the dough is not too sticky. Then we're going to knead it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Making a dough from scratch is actually easier than you might think. One key step is to let your dough rise in a warm environment. This helps activate the yeast and gives your rolls that fluffy texture that you're looking for. You can place your dough near a warm oven or just in a hot spot in the kitchen. All right, so I'm finally done kneading the dough. You only need to knead it for about 5 to 7 minutes. Forget about the 10-minute mark. And I oiled up the same bowl so that we don't have to dirty up another bowl. And so we're going to put the dough inside the bowl and cover it up and let it rise for about an hour or double in size. And then we'll come back to the bowl. Some of you may remember that I had a keto-friendly bakery a few years ago before I transitioned into the plant-based lifestyle. Back then, the cinnamon roll was the most popular item on the menu. I share this because with the cinnamon rolls, you don't have to stick to the traditional way of making them. Today, I'm just sharing with you a basic steps on how to make a simple roll. You can get really creative with the cinnamon roll by adding different ingredients like walnuts and raisins and even cardamom to give it like a different type of kick. Or change up the profile entirely and make orange or chocolate cinnamon rolls. The sky's the limit. So the dough already has its first rise, and now we're going to go ahead and make that filling so we can roll it all out and spread it on the dough. So first we're going to add some butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon. Let's get that a good mix. And we're going to use this mixture, of course, to spread on the dough. Sometimes I find that, oops, ignore that. But yeah, you can also just sprinkle each one of these components on top of the dough after you roll it out. But I find it's easier that when you make like a spread, it's more even, you know? So go ahead and get your mix on. set that aside, and let's grab our dough. So this is the first rise, so it should have doubled in size. Oh yeah, great. Absolutely wonderful. That's what you like to see. So once it doubles in size like that, you're gonna actually punch it down and get some of that air out. Here you go. Okay, I had to upgrade the cutting board because the other one was too small and I need more room. So what we're gonna do is just lightly flour the cutting board or just the counter surface if you're using your counter. And we're gonna get the dough out. And we're gonna roll this dough to about 1/4 inch thick into a rectangular shape. So you might wanna put a little bit of flour on top so it doesn't stick. And let's get us a nice rectangle. Let's see. And you can already feel how light and fluffy this dough rolls because you can feel that texture, and that's what you want, a nice fluffy texture. Look how smooth and pretty that looks. It's so gorgeous. I'm so happy how it came out so far. You want it to be about 1/4 inch thick because we're going to cut 12 cinnamon roll slices out of this. So you want it to be big enough so you can get a good amount of cinnamon rolls. So about this thick, 1/4 inch thick, but you know what guys? It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. So what we're going to do is sprinkle the sugar mixture on top of the dough evenly, and then we'll spread it out a little bit. You're doing this because you want to make sure each bite gets a good amount of that sweetness and that cinnamon. So I recommend spreading it with a spatula or some type of soft tool. You don't want to use a knife really because it's going to tear the dough. So you don't have to mix all your butter and your sugar together. You can also just put some butter down, put your butter down first, sprinkle your sugar and sprinkle your cinnamon on it as well. I'm just used to doing it this way, but it could be easier by just doing it the other method. Also, my spatula seems to be very weak because I just bought this and it seems to be very weak, so it's not like the normal spatula I would use. But we're gonna get it done. So when you're spreading your sugar and your sugar butter mixture on the dough, just make sure that you get it all the way to the ends of the corners of the dough, because if you don't, when you cut it, you're gonna get like just mostly dough on some of the rolls. So if that makes any sense. So around these edges, I like to get it all the way to almost to the edge, and then every piece will get that delicious cinnamon flavor. All right guys, so now we're just gonna take it and roll it into a long log. Start from the bottom and kind of like move it from side to side so that you get a nice even roll. So we're gonna slice it about 12 slices, and it's good for you to like just put a little indentation so that you get even slices. So grab a knife. I just generally just cut a tiny, not cut, but just put a little mark right there. So you'll get 6 on this side, 6 on that side, equaling up to 12, of course. So we're gonna do, again, another one in the middle where the 6 will go, and then you'll just divide these into 3. This way you'll get some nice, even slices, see? So instead of using a knife, sometimes when you use a knife, you like the sawing or you're trying to cut it and it kind of tears the dough. So what you're gonna do is actually use something that's unexpected, which is some dental floss, all right? So we're gonna use some dental floss. So get you a nice long piece about the length of your arm, okay? And what we're gonna do is take it, slide it underneath, line it up, make sure you have it lined up properly, right where that slice is at. You're gonna fold it in half, right? And then we're gonna pull, okay? And you get a nice clean roll. Let's try that again, okay? Let's move this to the side. You're gonna slide your dental floss underneath, line it up where your line is at, crisscross it, and then you're gonna pull those apart. Okay? So when you do it that way, you get nice even slices, and you kind of almost look like a professional, you know, hey. So let's keep on going. We're gonna finish up these, then we're gonna place them inside of a pan, and we're gonna let it rise again for another hour. So I have a lightly oiled cast iron skillet that I'm gonna bake them in. You can bake them in any type of pan that you like. So for me, my pan is smaller because I'm cooking in the air fryer, as most of you guys know. So I might have to bake these in 2 different pans because it just won't all fit. So what we're gonna do is place them inside the pan, give it about a ½ inch or so for the rise, because we're gonna rise these one more time for about a ½ an hour. So give it a little bit of room. Get about 7 in here in this pan. It's a smaller pan, and then I'm gonna just take another baking pan and just place them in here as well. Let me get a little bit of oil in here so it doesn't stick. This is what you gotta do when you're working with air fryer. As you guys know, I'm always working with my air fryer because that's what I have. You just make it work. So let's put these in this pan. So we're just doing it in 2 different pans, okay? So these cinnamon rolls can be made ahead of time. So when you're making them ahead of time, after you roll them, before you do your second rise, be sure to cover them up with plastic wrap and pop them in the fridge in a pan. And the next day, when you take them out, give them 30 minutes for them to rise again, and then go ahead and bake them. So while the cinnamon rolls are rising for the second time, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. Ooh, they got nice and big, perfecto. Allow the cinnamon rolls to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. The cinnamon rolls are almost done, so while they're cooking still, we're gonna hurry up and make the icing to go on top. So to the bowl, I'm gonna add about 1 cup of powdered sweetener, and hey, that's all I have left. And then we're gonna add 1 to 2 cups of plant milk, and I'm using the cashew milk again. You can use any type you want, and about a ½ teaspoon of vanilla, okay? So let's add the vanilla first. So we're gonna start off with about 1 tablespoon. Get it all whisked up. Okay. And by the way, this recipe for the plant-based milk is on my website, along with a couple other plant-based recipes for milk. I'm just gonna add a little bit more and make adjustments as I go along. We're gonna let the cinnamon rolls cool down for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're gonna drizzle it with some icing. The kitchen smells amazing. I'm so excited to share with you guys and give it a try. So I think I'm gonna I'll just pick a side one. I normally go for the center because usually the center is way softer, but look at that. Wow, it's so cushy. Tastes like? Let's cut it. It's so pillowy, look at that. I won't take a big bite, but this will do. Okay. Oh, that's good. Oh man, it tastes so good. It's just the right sweetness. It's so soft and fluffy. Man, that's so delicious. Look at this. See that? It's like a perfectly balanced cinnamon and sugar inside of it, right? And it's nice and soft and cushy. It's not like too undercooked or overcooked. It's that perfect balance in between, because you know sometimes you want the cinnamon rolls to have that fluffy gooiness, and this definitely has it. You don't need too much drizzle or glaze on top. I just put just the right amount of glaze on top to give that perfect amount of sweetness. So you'll definitely love this one. And the best part, guys, it's vegan, okay? No eggs were involved. So if you like more recipes like this, definitely give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I upload new videos every week. And let me know if you guys make cinnamon rolls at home, or what kind of flavor would you like me to make next. So with that being said, I'm Rosa, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.